Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días, aquí tienen el horario para hoy, miércoles el 10 de mayo. No homework due for today, no homework due for Friday, no homework really for the rest of the academic year. Let's take a look at the objectives for today to review the key terms and expressions associated with careers and professions, to recognize future tense verb conjugations within an authentic context, and to identify irregular verb tense conjugations in context. We're actually going to begin with the news today. So if you click on this link, it'll take you to the news. En español, this is univision.com. This is a video, or 8 videos rather, that summarize the ceremony of the coronation of King Carlos III. So watching the video, but more importantly, focusing on these 2 sentences here, I want you to answer these 4 questions, and just in bullet point format. ¿Qué? ¿Quién? ¿Cuándo? ¿En dónde? What is this news about? Who is this news about? When did this news take place? And where did this news event take place? ¿Qué? ¿Quién? ¿Cuándo? ¿En dónde? What happened? Who was involved? When did it happen? And where did it happen? And the answers you're going to find here in the text. I'll read it for you. And then I want you, as you're reading, you're looking for, as we say in English, the who, what, when, where. We're actually not going to talk about the why. I would challenge you. Why is this newsworthy? Perhaps you can find a fragment here that would speak as to why it's worth being in the news. Why are so many people paying attention to this? All right, let's take a look at the brief description here. 70 años después de la coronación de su madre Isabel II, este sábado 6 de mayo, Carlos el III fue coronado en la Abadía de Westminster de Londres, junto a su esposa Camila, quien a partir de ahora asume el título de reina. En estos videos te contamos cómo ha sido esta histórica ceremonia desde la salida de los reyes del Palacio de Buckingham, el despliegue de seguridad, el momento exacto en que ambos fueron coronados, entre otros. So if we were to take a look at the questions, what happened? Who did it involve? When? And where? Well, let's start with the easier ones. Let's do the who. We'll go in order. Fair enough. What happened? Well, you can find it in the title, right? La ceremonia de coronación. Keyword there, coronación. Coronation, right? The coronation or the crowning of King Carlos III. There is the qué, ¿cierto? What took place. In terms of the quién, who, well, we got a few possibilities here. We have Carlos el Tercero, right? Carlos III. We also have his wife, su esposa, Camila. So, Carlos III for sure. If you wanted to include his wife, Camila, that would also suffice. And you guys are just jotting this down in bullet point format. ¿Qué? La coronación de Carlos el Tercero. ¿Quién? Carlos el Tercero y Camila. ¿Cuándo? When did this take place? Este sábado el 6 de mayo. Took place on May 6th, this past Saturday. ¿Cierto? And then finally, ¿dónde? Where did this happen? That might be a bit tricky to catch. Westminster de Londres, Westminster in London. You could also have chosen Palacio de Buckingham. That's the residence of the royal family, Buckingham Palace, in London as well. And then if you want to get greedy and try a stab at the porqué, why is this newsworthy? Well, 70 años después de la coronación de su madre Isabel II, it's taking place 70 years after the coronation of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. Ha sido una histórica ceremonia. It's a historical ceremony, the changing of power within a monarchy. It doesn't happen every day. In this case, it happened 70 years ago, once in a generation. So either these two expressions or both, I think, speak to the why. ¿Cierto? Why this is noteworthy. All right, so that's a little bit of the news. Time permitting, although today is a PD day, we will do a little more practice. You're welcome to do this if you enjoyed that activity, just to get some reading comprehension. We'll be doing a lot more of that in level 3. You can click on this hyperlink here. These are different news stories in Spanish, just random stories. For example, una pizzeria con cocineros robots. Un café con pájaros in Bangkok. And maybe you guys would like this one. You guys look up stuff in TikTok, not in Google. Yeah, I look up in Google, but that's because I'm not young. You guys are young, so you look up stuff in TikTok. So read this story, or any of the stories there from the glossary. See if you can identify the who, what, when, where, why, how. I think would be going a little bit further than you need to, but those first 4 questions, see if you can tackle. What is this story about? TikTok. Who is involved in this story? Los jóvenes, which are young people. I'm not seeing it. Maybe BitDance. Can include BitDance, the company. They're a bit controversial. Chinese company having access to data, the usage data of many Americans using TikTok. That's become a bit controversial as to whether or not we're going to continue to allow that. Here is another reference to Los Jóvenes, young people, how you guys look up stuff in TikTok. That's more fun. Good restaurant in the city, a recipe, tutorial about how to do makeup, maquillarse, and even math lessons. Cuando would be when. Any references to time that y'all can see? Yeah, maybe right here, how TikTok began in 2016. Or you can even use the title of the article, or the time of the article, el 16 de abril. So just see if you can pull, references to people, references to things or topics, references to time, references to places. And I think you're going to find that that's a good exercise in identifying the who, what, when, where, why, and how. All right, that's if we have a little bit of practice, more time for practice for enrichment. The main objective for the rest of the class is to go over new notes. This is the last new content that we're going to go over together, and that's chapter 9a, which is all about the future. ¿Qué profesión tendrás? What profession will you have in the future? We're very briefly going to go over vocab and grammar for this chapter. So being able to listen to and read about students' future plans. You yourself are going to talk and write about your own high school activities and career plans and exchange that information with one another about what high school will be like for new students and what life will be like for you in the future. Of course, professions, career aspirations, and the future tense is what we're going to look at in terms of the key vocab in grammar. That's on pages 450. Take a look at that together. So that's what we're going to do next, is take a look at the professions that are on pages 452 and 453. Do a little listening comprehension practice and then some pair practice on page 457. Forgive me. So back to page 452. We're going to highlight all the key terms that are in beige. And I hope you're finding, this is chapter 9a, y'all. This is Spanish 4. Typically, we go over this chapter in Spanish 4 because, Spanish 4, you're senior for the most part, or potentially a junior, having taken Spanish 1 in middle school. And, you're looking at what you're going to be doing after you graduate, right? So everything in bold in the glossary for the chapter you can find on page 472. You have all the key vocabulary here, but a lot of it is cognates, right? You don't even really need to look this stuff up. You just know from the context itself that we're talking about professions. You're probably going to be able to make heads or tails of what these are, right? Like el secretario.
El secretario.
La secretaria.
And that's the difference between masculine and feminine, right? La arquitecta. El diseñador is a designer, like a graphic designer, software designer, computer designer. Talking about going to college, graduating from college and university, what professions or technical schools you pursue. So we're going to go through the vocabulary together, read through it, see how it's used in context. And then this is the listening comprehension practice we're going to do. Taking a look at how these different professions fit and are described in context. Exercise 1, the listening practice. They're going to describe one of the professions, and you're going to choose the profession that best fits the description. Great practice for your final exam. The listening comprehension portion. And then we're going to finish off with the pair practice on pages, for exercises 6 and 7 on page 450. What's it, page 457. Let's take a quick look at those. All right, so filling in the blank with the key term that best fits the context. That's exercise 6. Colegio is college. Idioma is a language. Me gradué is the past tense of the verb graduarse, which is to graduate. This is in the yo form. Programa de estudios is like a course map or curriculum map, your course of study, what you plan on taking in terms of your classes. And universidad is university. Beneficio is a benefit. Bilingüe is bilingual. Hombre de negocios is a businessman, not a businessman. Taking care of my business. Damn. Somebody who's watching this video likes the Jay-Z reference. Me gano la vida is I earn a living. In the yo form, ganar la vida is to earn a living. Oficinas are offices, and salario is a salary. You got cognates galore, y'all. Just fill in the blank with whichever term you think best fits according to the context. Go over that together. And then exercise 7, los planes para el futuro. You guys are going to choose a profession that you think best fits the description or the picture here for each. So, ¿piensas seguir una carrera en el mundo de las artes después de graduarte del colegio? You guys are going to ask each other about your future plans. Do you think, or are you thinking of pursuing a career in the arts after graduating from college? and then choose one of these possible examples. Posiblemente, possibly. Algún día me gustaría ser pintor. So you guys are going to choose first what the field is, like the field of science, the field of politics, the field of law, the field of technology. I think maybe the technology for 4 or 5. For business, maybe for number 5. Okay, that's what's going to go in that first blank for part A, is the field of study. Whereas part B, your response, you're going to indicate a profession that we would associate in that field of study. And B, the response is going to be, yeah, maybe. Someday I'd like to become that profession. Algún día, someday, me gustaría ser pintor or pintora. Or no quiero ser pintor. I don't want to be that profession. I would instead like to earn a living as another profession. So for example, number 1, ¿piensas seguir una carrera en el mundo de la ciencia? La ciencia después de graduarte del colegio? Posiblemente. Algún día me gustaría ser científico. Would be a profession, right? Or científica. Or no quiero ser científico. I don't want to be a scientist. Quisiera ganarme la vida como, and then again, fill in that last blank there with the profession that you're more keen on, that you're more interested in. That's where we're going to finish off our notes for today. Again, no homework at all for next class. We're rounding out the remainder of the key concepts that are going to be on your study guide all next week. The week of the 15th, we'll be beginning our review for your final exam.